Welcome back, warmongers. Today's mnemonics are from Squid Game. Without any further ado, let the games begin. Today's list of words: dystopia, nonchalant, transgress, qualification, promulgate, sanguine, aesthetic, recompense, affinity, frenzy, sanguinary, evince. Dystopia. Dystopia is a fictional world where people live under a highly controlled totalitarian system. The word dystopia comes from adding the Latin prefix dis, which means bad, to the word utopia. So, a dystopia is a utopia gone wrong. While the intention might have been to create a perfect society, all the regulations make life there really bad. For example, the architect of Squid Game designed a dystopia where individuals' identity is reduced to a mere number, and children's games are translated into invidious, callous race. Nonchalant, seemingly not to care about anything, uninvolved, so casually unconcerned. Even though it begins with nonchalant has no positive form. So chalant is not a word. Transgress is to break a rule or law, contravene, infringe, violate, breach. When you look at the word transgress, the root word gress here means go, and trans means across, so go across, which means trespass. When you go beyond the boundaries, either physically or morally, you transgress. A river will transgress its banks as it floods, and students who cheat transgress school rules. Qualification. Nope, it's not the skills you need. In this case, it's a little detail added to make your statement more specific. For example, the particular shapes on the wall illustrate the difficulty of the game you play. So we can tell one game from another game. Also, the shapes imprinted on the mask illustrate the guard's position in the hierarchy. Like I mentioned, it's a little added detail. Promulgate, to formally declare, make known widely, is proclaiming, so make official. To promulgate is to officially put a law into effect. Your state may announce a plan to promulgate a new traffic law on January 1st. And laws are not the only things you can promulgate. It can be values, social values, or belief systems, or philosophies on that matter. Sanguine is cheerful, confident, thinking everything will be okay. If you're sanguine about a situation, that means you're optimistic that everything's going to work out fine. It's a fancy way to say someone is cheerfully confident. Experts are frequently described as feeling sanguine about a political or economic situation. Aesthetic. It's appreciating beauty or art, showing great taste. It's visually tasteful. If something has aesthetic value, it has value as a work of art. It does not, however, refer to the object themselves, so do not talk about an aesthetic painting. Recompense. It's a payment given to make up for a loss. It's a compensation, return compensation. If you look closely at recompense, you will see how similar it is to compensate, which means to make amends for something or to pay. Add the prefix re, which suggests returning or repeating, and you get the meaning of recompense, paying back or reimbursing financially or otherwise. Affinity. Affinity is from similarity. From the quality of similarity, you feel a sense of attraction. It's a natural liking. For example, there was an obvious affinity, natural attraction between the two girls in Squid Game from the start, as Sebyok sees herself in Ji-young, keeping to herself, not trusting anyone, not talking to anybody. Frenzy is out of control state, is crazy excitement, wild outbursts. In a frenzy, people go into a state of hysteria. You can be in a frenzy because something made you mad, happy, even just hungry. Whatever makes you so crazy, you are not thinking clearly. Sanguinary is accompanied by bloodshed. It's blood-stained, bloodthirsty, just a lot of blood. The movies have become increasingly sanguinary. For example, this bitter and sanguinary war, or they'll return with a sanguinary fury. Again, yeah, it just involves a lot of blood or the quality of blood. Evince. The verb evince means to show or express clearly, or to make plain. Evidence can evince the innocence of the accused, and tears can evince the grief of mourning. Evincing is all about expressing. So if you are keeping your feelings inside, then there's not much of evincing going on. Okay, next set of vocabulary, metaphor, juxtapose, disillusioned, apprehensive, solicitous, vitriolic, arbitrary, surreptitious, concerted, rapport, hindrance, portent. Okay, let's start with the metaphor. It's an imaginary way of describing something by comparing to something else. It's a made-up comparison. It's an imaginary comparison. So it's a symbol. For example, Squid Game constructs a dark metaphor. It's imaginary comparison or symbol for modern capitalism, where men are reduced to cogs in the machine and capitalism becomes the new religion. Juxtapose is to place object or idea side by side to emphasize its difference. See the word pose in juxtapose. When you juxtapose, you are posing or positioning things side by side. Juxtapose is used often when referring to contrasting elements in the arts. For example, the music juxtapose the instrumentation of jazz with the harmonies of soul. Disillusioned. Disillusion is free from illusion, which is fantasy. So free from false idea, disappointed, disenchanted, enlightened. When you are disillusioned, you are wiser, but not necessarily happier. You have learned from experience that life isn't always how you would like to be. So, for example, getting divorced could leave you disillusioned about marriage and love. Finding out a teacher cheated could leave you disillusioned about integrity of education. We all are disillusioned at some point, and it's usually a bit depressing, actually. Often ignorance really is bliss. Apprehensive. Apprehensive, quick to understand. And because you're quick to understand things, you're fearful, normally fearful about the future. Synonyms are afraid, which suggests a more immediate fear, like fearful child. You can be apprehensive about a situation while being an optimistic and courageous person in general. Solicitous. Solicitous means showing anxious concern or desire. When you hear the word solicitous, think of your mom. Attentive, caring, concern is nice when your waiter gives you good service. But if he or she is solicitous, the hovering might seem just too much. Solicitous comes from Latin, meaning entirely set in motion, caring for you all the time. Your neighbors are solicitous if they try to help your family out all the time. Use this word too if you are eager to do something. A good student will be solicitous to appear interested in what the teacher has to say, even when it's not that interesting. Vitriolic. Vitriolic is full of bitterness and hate. Severely caustic. It's very acidic, so bitter or nasty. As acid can damage things, vitriolic words can hurt feelings, break hearts, even lead to violence. For example, vitriolic critic or vitriolic attacks, vitriolic scorn. Arbitrary. Arbitrary is chosen at random instead of following consistent rules. Even though arbitrary comes from word meaning judge, which is arbiter, that doesn't mean judges are always fair. Calling a decision maker arbitrary is usually a negative thing, suggesting that person is making rules based on whim rather than justice. Surreptitious. Surreptitious is doing things in a quiet, secretive, stealthy manner. When someone behaves in a surreptitious way, they are being secretive. They are doing things that they don't want to be seen doing. The members of the secret society hold surreptitious meetings because, well, they are secret society. I was very surreptitious in how I organized the surprise party. Another example, a surreptitious glance at his watch, or surreptitious mobilization of troops. Concerted, done by several people working together, collaborative. Concerted is often used to describe group effort to achieve a particular goal. If a group of people do anything together, they are acting in concert or in a concerted manner. Rapport is a good relation in which people understand each other. If you have rapport with someone, you two communicate with trust and sympathy. The word is often used to mean good interaction between people in different positions or roles, such as parent, teacher, teacher and student, doctor and patient. It is always important to establish rapport with people you come into contact with regularly. Hindrance. If something makes harder to advance, is an interference, is obstacle. For example, the girl in the picture is a hindrance. She's an obstacle to his finishing the game. You might hear the phrase more of a hindrance than a help. It means that something intended to be a positive force has the opposite effect, like when your 4-year-old sister tries to help you make dinner. Hindrance refers to the act of slowing things down. Portent. It's a sign of future event, momentous, ominous significance. A portent is an omen of something momentous, which can be good, but is more often negative. You can use portent to mean magical foretelling or a symbol, but you can also use it to talk about something real. The way you could describe big, dark storm clouds as a portent of a thunderstorm. Okay, the last round. Antithesis, uncouth, poignant, tentative, antagonize, decadent, adversary, tenuous, uncanny, volition, perplex, encapsulate. Antithesis is a contrast of thoughts for an effect, balance. It's opposition. You might have come across antithesis in school if you learn philosophy. There, the thesis or main idea put forward in an argument is countered with as opposite idea, the antithesis. And the two are finally reconciled in a third proposition, the synthesis. An antithesis wouldn't exist without a thesis because it works as a comparison. It's a contrasting idea to give a feeling of balance. Uncouth is lacking in good manners, ungraceful, boorish, vulgar. Interestingly, the word uncouth came first, and its antonym couth was developed to describe someone who's cultured, polished, sophisticated later. Although couth gets an entry in the dictionary, you will still hear the word uncouth used far more often. Poignant. Poignant is sharply painful to the feelings, to the point. Keen, cutting is sharply painful, sharply piercing. For example, many people accede to the scene in which Jiyoung purposely gives up her life for 새벽 is one of the most poignant, sharply painful encounters in Squid Game. Something that is poignant touches you deeply. Watching a poignant YouTube video about baby penguins chasing their mothers, for example, might give you a lump in your throat. Tentative. Tentative is not very confident because you are still uncertain. So things are still temporary or you are still hesitant. Choose the adjective tentative to describe something you are unsure or hesitant about. The Latin tentative means testing or trying. Always describes something that is uncertain. Here, the opposite of tentative is definite or set. If someone gives you a tentative smile or nod, that person feels somehow hesitant or unsure about something. Antagonize. To antagonize is to provoke someone to react angrily, to provoke the hostility of. If your mother tells you to stop antagonizing your brother, she's asking you to stop making him mad. Antagonize share the same Greek roots with the word agony. So think about how much agony you cause your siblings when you tease them into getting angry. In English class, you will often be asked to name the antagonist of a story, the character who provokes the main character to react. Decadent is decayed or corrupted morally, excessively indulgent of pleasure. A decadent is a person who has fallen into a state of moral artistic decay. Typically, though, we use decadent as an adjective to describe wasteful indulgence or extravagance. Celebrities who find themselves unable to manage sudden fame or fortune sometimes go overboard. Adversary. Adversary is somebody you are adverse to or opposed to. It's your opponent. For example, Ki-hyun in Squid Game, who sets out as a big old man-child, has proved himself a formidable adversary, formidable opponent for unrelenting Sang-woo. If you are the undefeated chess champion, you have bested every single one of your adversaries. Tenuous. Tenuous is lacking in substance or significance. It's flimsy, it's uncertain, it's weak. If something is tenuous, it's thin, like glass, as you see in the picture, either literally or metaphorically. If you try to learn a complicated mathematical concept by cramming for 45 minutes, you'll have a tenuous grasp of that concept at best. Uncanny. Uncanny is strange and difficult to explain, mysterious, extraordinary. It's uncommon. The current meaning of English canny is cunning and clever, especially in handling money. If something is uncanny, it is so mysterious, strange, unfamiliar that it seems supernatural. Volition is the power you decide for yourself. It's a voluntary choice. It's a free will. For example, the participants in Squid Game have initially given volition, a voluntary choice. It was a binary choice with a handsome incentive, and they exercised their free will to remain in the game. Doing something willingly or voluntarily is doing it of your own volition. You might not always enjoy the books your teachers assigns, but you love the historical novels you pick up of your own volition. Perplexed. Confused and slightly worried about something, at a loss, puzzled. Think it as it's complex stuff, so puzzled or confused. Use the adjective perplexed to describe someone who is utterly baffled or confused. If you ever studied for the wrong test and been surprised or confused by the exam in front of you, you've been perplexed. Encapsulate. Encapsulate means in here means into, and you see the word capsule following. So put something into small capsule. So condense or summarize. You enclose important aspects in small space. When you see the word encapsulate, think about trying to put your comic book collection inside one tiny capsule. All of them wouldn't fit, so you have to pick out your favorites or most valuable ones. Encapsulating means condensing something down into its most important parts. So you just get the gist of it. Cliff notes encapsulate longer books. That's gonna do it for today. Should you have any word you'd like to know more about, let me know down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Until I see you guys next time, happy learning.